Welcome, everybody, another edition of Down and Dirty with the Badger State Tractor Pullers. With Greg Elsing again tonight. Ryan Zolik is our main man behind the wheel for us. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Slama Enterprises, Casper Egg, Front Street Toys, Trip Downing, and Camp Transport for sponsoring Down and Dirty with the Badger State Tractor Pullers. How's it going, guys?
Good. How are you doing, John? Survived the weekend?
Survived the weekend, yes.
Yeah. We had a rough weekend with the spring meeting there again, right?
Oh, yeah, that was rough.
Yep. Short and sweet the meeting went, but went good.
Yeah.
But I think, we were going to talk about the schedule and how the spring meeting went. But first of all, we said we should talk about a few of the comments we got after the show about last week's box turbo show. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Some follow up. Got a lot of texts and messages and comments from people, along the road. I somehow, I guess online, I said I was for box turbos. I'm not for it, but I'm not against it. I can see both sides and play both sides. If we had to, I'm for whatever the majority of people want. But some of the comments I had was, yeah, if we're going to do a box turbo, guys, might as well go to a box injection pump, because that's where the next place you're going to have to spend a lot of money to catch up, or tires. Then you might do tires or who knows what. So everything should, one of the arguments I got from somebody is everything should just be the same. Get your turbo from one guy, your pump from another guy, and your tires from another guy, and everybody run the same thing. But that's not the intent of it, I don't think. Do you, John?
No. I think some of the Badger State guys were commenting on it, and they're happy the way the class is. They would not. From what I got the feelings of, they would not like to see it change. So, yeah, especially Josh Dutton, because then he'd have to change the name of his tractor to Time for 4.3 More.
Yep. Yep. That was brought up too. Yeah. No, but I think, a lot of the guys, like I kind of agree to, we're not going to get 500 more horse in the next 5 years. I think, we made a big jump last year with the boat prop turbo. In that class, and that was going to go into every class, every restricted, turbo size class was going to end up doing that. And that, which the turbo was legal last year, but it wasn't, it had a lot more potential. And we probably should just stay where we're at, and brought it back a little bit, but I think they're making them turbos just about as good as they did before.
What did the other group vote? Did you find out?
They tabled it for Excalibur. The group out in Missouri tabled it for the year. The competitors in the class kind of wanted it, but I guess it made it to the executive board just like it does the board of directors for Badger State. And they, the class can say what they want, but the board has the final say, in what goes on. So that's the way it works. So I don't know if anybody's any comments or anything else you've heard, please put them up and we'll go over it again. But other than that, we can go over our schedule. It won't take us long. It'll be up online shortly. We, just as always, we don't put the class. We've got the dates all there, but we don't have what classes are there, because we don't have the contracts back. And if you throw a class up there and somebody makes plans to be there or not be there, and they're there and they make vacation, well, we weren't going to be there. I thought it wasn't on the schedule. Well, they make vacation plans, and then you get in trouble. So we don't put them up until we get the contracts back from the fair boards. So, but The dates are all there. And you can pretty much go by, if you've been there before, you're probably going to be there again.
It looks like a healthy schedule once again, starting out end of May in Prairie du Sac.
Yep. We moved, that's my hometown. We moved it from August 21st weekend type around there to there, because so many guys want to go to Bowling Green or Terre Haute is that weekend too, it's just conflicting. And then Lancaster wanted Saturday night, and then they ended up going back to Thursday night of this year. But next year, I don't know if they take it or not. We'll find out.
So. It is hard sometimes with some of the places, if they've had a Thursday night show or they've had a show this night, to change it. Everybody gets used to when it is and the pull that they plan on going to. So it's kind of a tough call in that regards.
Right. Which nights you go on and what you do. And, I don't know. It's, how'd you guys do it with mini rods when you were in charge?
Of course, every once in a while, it seemed like leap year was the biggest problem when you were scheduling, because that would goof everything up like a week somehow, some way. Or like two events would be, right next to each other rather than a week apart like they were before for whatever reason. But wasn't too awful bad, but it's just part of them things. Once in a while, someone would switch weeks or switch to another date. One pull was that way because of carnival. They couldn't get a carnival that week or whatever. So
yeah, that's a big struggle for a lot of the fairs to get a carnival. And there's only so many of them. There's going to be less of them, and they they don't, they can't be two places at once. Obviously, that's a big struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah. But scheduling is tough.
We can, but I don't know if it can be three places at once.
Right. Like you said, with the leap year, some years you have five weekends in June and then 4 in July, and then the next year it switches, and somebody might have been on the last weekend in June. Now they got to go on the first weekend in July or something.
Yeah.
And we really push not to have a tractor pull on the 4th of July, because you just, there's too much stuff going on. The promoter generally doesn't make money on it. They have, some guys are bullheaded and want to do it anyways, but it's tough. Family stuff, parades, 4th of July, you're competing against everything.
Yeah.
Fireworks.
A lot of stuff going on the 4th.
Yep. So
June 7th, Baraboo is starred there. That is our American Family Children's Hospital benefit pull. It sounded like all the classes were going to come Saturday. Is that correct?
Yep. And it's $15 to get in. And that'll be the best session in Wisconsin you'll see of tractor pulling, guaranteed, hands down. You won't see, any, Hillsborough, Tome, and all that. They all have their sessions, but we have everything there in one session. It's just done. I think, one session, you're done and you're out of there. So, and I don't know if you noticed, American Family Children's Hospital is adding on 50 more rooms in a SICU, what they call it. It's a children's intensive care unit.
Yep, I seen that on the news today here. This evening that they're adding on, and it's going to get started here, and it should be open by 2027.
Yep. That's a pretty big deal, I guess. I don't know about all of it, but I heard it's a big deal.
Well, there was a floor there that they, from originally when they built the hospital, from what I understand, this is not gospel, but from what I understand, there was a floor that wasn't totally renovated yet. And then they were working on getting funding to renovate it. And then what would the, most needs be for that renovation? Well, then they did that, which kind of changed around one of the floors, moved up to that and, added together, so on and so forth. But they're looking ahead to do more. There's more necessities for what they needed for the hospital. So this is their conclusion. So I think once they do this, they'll be full. It'll be full.
Right. It is. And I think it's pretty full the way it is, but they always find room for somebody else if they need it. Right.
Yeah. And it's such a, you've seen it, and a lot of us in Badger State have seen it. And, my boy has been there. I know Paulson's had a boy that's been there, and I know a few other people have had children go there. I know someone that's there now. So, it's one of the greatest hospitals in the world is UW Children's Hospital. So it's just a little feather in our caps to do our piece of the puzzle and it grows every year. And we can't thank the sponsors and people that donate time, and all the pullers that all rally around to do such a great thing.
Yep. So, but the schedule, I don't know the classes changing anything. Not a lot changed. Our price went up a bunch due to insurance this year, and I think every pulling organization is finding that. And then something has to give. And a couple of classes went up. And it didn't have the effect what the classes wanted from what I want to see. A class goes up in money because they want to cut less pulls. Well, they still hire that class, but then somebody else is a casualty of it, is what happens, And that's exactly what happened. Well, we still want them classes, we're going to have to cut this other class. So that is just what happened. And I hate to say it, but that's the way it goes, right? What do you do?
Scheduling is a tough gig. It's a hard balance to do.
Yep.
Dates and then classes, and you got a smorgasbord of classes, and you try and meet the competitors. We only want so many hooks. These guys only want so many hooks. These guys want so many hooks, and then you have a good show, and that's the backside of that is having a good show that everybody wants that stuff, or those classes, and it's hard to take some out and move them around, and like you said, the price went up and they still want them. So.
Right.
Get the results: Wisconsin versus Missouri, friendly wager concerning total money raised. Yeah,
I did not, but I've heard that they're not doing it next year for some reason. They couldn't find enough help for it or something.
Really?
Yep. So that's what I heard. I don't know if there's truth to it, but that's what I was kind of told.
Huh.
So it's a big thing to organize. It is, and keep at it. We've been at it 25 years or more. We have the same group of people do the same thing every year, and they love doing it, and it makes it work easy.
Yeah. It is a lot of work, and a lot of work by a lot of volunteers, but yeah.
Yep.
I think everybody takes a piece of the pride of helping out with that, and I hate to think if you sat down and wrote down everybody's name that helped out with that, how many people you think are involved that are working that?
Well, Kelly kind of organizes all the stuff and the stands, the food tent, the food stand, and the stuff there. And then 4 or 5 years ago, we moved it to Baraboo, and the Baraboo Fair Board or Fair Association, they do the beer tent. They keep the money for the beer tent, but they let us have the grounds for nothing. We get to use the grounds, and they usually make a donation back to the Children's Hospital at the end of the year through us. So with part of it, but they've been a great help with everything we've done there. So and because it's there, we have 2 tracks and can have all the classes there, because we used to have to cut like a third of the classes out because we wouldn't get done before midnight, and nobody wants to pull for 5 hours, 6 hours. It's not a good thing.
Right. Yeah.
Good shows are done in 3 hours.
And
seems to be
average, someone sits for 3.5 hours. That's enough.
Yep.
And there's shows like Monroe is a longer show, and that's the last one of the year. That draws a huge crowd, but by the time you get to the last couple classes too, it starts thinning out pretty good. But there's a lot of people that still stay, that hang out with the band afterwards as well. But
Yep.
kind of the last one of the year, so a lot of people know that this is the last hurrah. So we're gonna soak it all in.
Yep. So we've had the mini rods. I guess I didn't contact anybody from the Mini Rods Association this year if they wanted to participate. They have before, but I don't know. Have you talked to anybody? Heard anything?
I have not. Nope.
I haven't either. So, but last year they had an event they could do, so I imagine they're doing that again. Right?
Yeah, there was a poll. Well, I think there's the other poll in Missouri.
Yeah,
it was. I don't know if those guys are down there or not. I have to ask Stacy and Perry and them see what's going on. But
Right.
yeah, I know those guys are going to make a good run at her this year for a couple points championships. So they'll be doing some traveling.
Yep. We got with the spring meeting there. We're talking to it. A lot of guys wonder why we have it. A spring meeting. We do our tech school there. John Mears was up and does this tech school, and that takes about 2 hours. And every guy that has this year it won't be a Lucas Oil shirt. It'll be a
hot
shot shirt. Yeah, a hot shot shirt and everybody that has that shirt on has taken the tech school and gone through it. And we have all the class reps do it, and that way they all know the rules changes. So when they get a call and says, "Why do we have to do this?" Well, they know why you have to do it. It doesn't have to come back to me or Dirk. Why
Right.
the rules, and they can hopefully the chain of command take care of their stuff. Really, and it's mostly safety stuff with the bolts in front of the turbos. I don't off the top of my head I'll remember all the rules, but they all have to be like a 3-inch turbo. They can be 7 inches from the wheel, or they all have to be within 8. It was a difference with the sizes, if I remember right. The different turbos, the cross bolts, like Limit Pro's got to be 8, but I think the 3x3s were 7, if I remember right, or something like that. I'm probably wrong, but that's why we have a book. You have to look at the book. Don't try to. When I was in the military, when you worked at an aircraft, if the book wasn't open to the spot of the part you were working on, you were in trouble because you had to follow each line by line. So that's a good policy to know how to use the book. That's the biggest thing with the tech school too, is having guys know how to use the book and where to look stuff up.
It's hard to memorize all of it.
Yep.
Classes.
Yep. And it changes every year. And, you might know the classes you're involved in, but like trucks, I have to look everything up for a truck because I don't know. And then you have to interpret the rule to what you think it is. And usually you have 2 or 3 guys there to help you interpret it. If it isn't clear, if it's more of a judgment call,
Yep.
That's how we do it.
And it sounds like Dirk's going to be at the scale and checking more this year at the scale. So.
Yep. Tires and turbos and fuel and water, and we're going to crack down on it. We've been kind of lax on it the last couple of years, but you trust everybody, but then something happens, and that you got to put faith. You got to get the people's faith back in each other by checking. It's the best way. Check everybody,
Yep.
Make sure they're legal.
Yep. These are the rules that we're living by, so you got to live by the rules.
Yep.
You're getting 10,000 pound pro stock class, and you're going to weigh 10,000 pounds or less when you come across the scale.
Right. That's a tough thing because the scale changes all the time, but you got to go by what the scale says unless it's off by a lot. Then you have to figure something out, So that's how it goes, I guess.
But make sure that the first guy doesn't throw on 200 pounds to go across and say, well, that's what I had last night.
Right, and that's what happens. You know that, and so do I. The first guy, it's the same. So then you go back up, and then you add 200 pounds. Then the next night, that same guy goes across first and adds another 200 pounds and thinking he's getting an advantage, but we all have to add it then, which pretty soon. And by adding that weight, I'm just going to say in pro stocks, by adding an extra 500 pounds, it makes it hard on the sled operator to know how to set the sled to stop you. All of a sudden we're getting hooked up way better than he ever thought. Well, there's a reason, because we're 500 pounds heavier. Yep. We got to stick with our 10,000 pound rule so all the guys know what it is. All of a sudden you're going 360 feet. There's a reason we went 360. We're 500 pounds heavy.
Yeah, if you're light, you're light.
Yep.
Maybe
and then
one of the things that you should keep a notebook and count all the weights on the tractor that goes across. And then tomorrow night, Greg, you had 8 weights on there, and tonight you're going across, you got 8 weights, you're 50 pounds light. Well, that's pretty close. But all depends on the ground that it's sitting on, too. Sometimes if it's on gravel, it's not as accurate as it's sitting on concrete.
Right. And it also messes you up, too, because all of a sudden you're used to pulling at 10.5, and then say you go to a Hillsboro, where they weigh you and you have to take that 500 pounds off, and you don't know where do I take it off now? It just
where you take it off. take
Yeah.
that 5 pounds off. Now it's like, well, do I still run the same gear, or do we go up one over lighter?
Yep. You think that, you think that, but sometimes it's not true either. The track is different, and you're all messed up.
Yeah. So it's best, just to follow policy at 10,000, and that's where you're at. And yeah, write down maybe, write down that class, and then see what changes. And each you may have whoever sled there tonight, tomorrow night you got someone different. It's a different scale. But everybody's going to read the same number when they come across. That's the key.
Yep. Hopefully the scales are accurate. I always think everybody says, "Oh, they bounce around." Our TMRs bounce around the yard all day long, and they've got the same weigh bars on them, and they're 10 years old, and they never get calibrated or anything, and they're accurate. You throw a bucket of mineral in that's the same size, the same weight every time. So.
Yeah, and like us too, when we were in different places too, the scale setting on would be different. Times that we'd roll the tractor off and then roll it back on, and you get a different reading then too. But a lot of it depends on the you're sitting on, I think. But we're usually always pretty darn close.
Right. Yep. I don't think they vary a whole lot, but that's a tool we have to use, right? And that's what we got, But if you get out there and you know the guy and it's 500-600 pounds off, then you say, hey, we got to figure something out here, because that happens. That does happen.
Yeah. Then roll back around the line here and let's see what it does here. After 4 or 5 get weighed.
Yep. Get the next guy on. Yeah. Yep. So I don't know. Pretty short of conversation tonight about what we got to do. We thought we had a little bit, but it didn't work out, right?
Yeah. Ryan, can you put the rest of the schedule up? We can go over and make sure we got Show Pier. That's one going on again this year. That's the 21st of June. That's a good pull down there. So if nobody's got nothing, come on down to that.
Yep, that's a good one. Yep. And then
July,
Edgerton. Yeah. Go ahead.
July 5th is Edgerton, and that has been a pull. It's been getting better and better. It sounds like they're doing some more additions down there to that campus to make it better for the fans. And I think last year, boy, they had some great food vendors there. It was a good gig.
It was.
Jefferson County Fair the 9th.
Yep.
That's always cool.
That's a fun one. That's 3 classes there. It's Wednesday night. We're usually done by 10 o'clock there. And last couple of years, we've had a little rain had to struggle with there, right?
Yeah.
Tom Gale gets it all fixed up, ready to go.
I think the most rain we had was last year, wasn't it? And they got her figured out. It's probably one of the better tracks.
Yep. Once we got her going, yeah. Yep. And then we go to Baraboo on the 11th is a Friday night.
Baraboo Sauk County Fair, and then we go to Darlington the 12th, down at Lafayette County Fair.
And everybody knows what that party is, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. And then Monticello, Iowa, July 16th.
Yep, and that was one of the top 3 favorite pulls last year, voted, and then made the final 3 for favorite pull of the year, right?
Yeah.
That's a beautiful fairgrounds. And you talk about food there, too. Holy smokes. You go up on top of the hill there's got to be 40 food vendors right there behind the grandstands, at least. Probably more than that.
Wow. Isn't that the biggest county fair in Iowa?
I don't know. I have no idea. But it is a big one. It's big. There's a lot. They have Lainey Wilson was playing there last year the night after we left, I think. It was if we were there on a Thursday night, I think she played on Friday night. I'm not sure what night she played, but they sold 30,000 tickets to it, I guess, and they knock it out of the park. It's halfway between Dubuque and Cedar Rapids, I believe, or something. And they do big music there, and they do well with it. It's one of the fairs that music really works well with.
She's very popular.
Yep. And then Monroe is the Greene County Fair is after that on the 17th of July in Monroe. And that's always a good one.
Yep.
They always have 5 or 6 classes there.
Yep. That's good. Is Helenville still on or no?
We don't know yet.
Okay.
We got it down here, but they're working on it. There's some conflicting stuff going on, whatever. We'll find out. They struggle on Friday night getting people there. Their Saturday night show goes pretty good. The truck show does pretty well for them. Friday nights, they struggle because it's so close to the fair. Helensville's only a week after the fair, which is a few miles away, so people have already seen it. You know what I mean? That's tough.
Well, it's really tight. It's the 17th. It's Thursday night. Monroe. So you're just a week away, like you said. It's a great little event, though. I mean, it's a fundraiser for the fire department over there, and
yep.
I mean, they got good food, and they usually have a band, and I mean, it's a good time.
Yep. So then we go to Freeport after that on Tuesday and Wednesday, and I believe more Badger State stuff is on Wednesday night, and it's I've been saying Lucas Oil forever. It's I can't get it in my head ever, but
Hot
Shot Pro Pulling League there on Tuesday night. Badgers, the pro stocks are there on Tuesday, I believe, and then the rest of the classes are there on Wednesday, or vice versa. I don't have it on here right now in front of me, but and then you've got Mark Kohlberg's got his shootout type thing going on there, where as a puller, you can pay. So John, you and I are in a class, and maybe 3 or 4 other guys. You don't have to pay it, but we all throw $2,500 in a pot, and if say 5 guys do it out of 10, them 5 guys will divide that money up as how they place.
Okay.
So if So if you get third place, but you're the first guy that got in that pot, you get first place money out of that pot. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yep.
So that it could build stuff, how it goes. I'm interested to see how it goes with everybody, and see how it's going with Mark down there for that. All these shows are going to be live streamed too. Just so everybody knows. I shouldn't say all of them, right, Ryan? But we did most of them last year, I think, right?
Majority of them will be live. If I'm there, 99% sure will be live streamed.
Yep, I think we did 19 last year. I counted right out of them.
Yeah, probably somewhere in that range.
Yep. So then after Freeport is Mazamani. The only change there that pro stocks are not there this year. He's going to add the light pros in. They're cheaper class, but they're just as much fun to watch. They do a good job. They put on a good show. Oshkosh is going to be the same as always, I believe.
Friday night?
Yep, Friday night. Yep. Utica's on Saturday.
Saturday afternoon, Utica Festival, and then Warren that night.
Yep, and the light limiteds you're gonna pull them early in Utica, and they're gonna bust button get down to Warren for that night show, right?
What it sounds like, yep.
That's what it sounds like. Mike's got to get the budget right for him, but that's the plan right now. If he can raise the money to do it, Mike Gerlach kind of runs that one down there and takes care of it. Then Milledgeville is on Wednesday after Ben Hand's hometown. We go down there.
Carroll County.
Yep, and that track gets better every year there, I think. It really does. They do a better job there every year.
I love pulling there. And the ride down there is nice, too, because you ride through farm fields on those roads for miles, and next thing you know, boom, out of the middle of a cornfield pops up Carroll County Fair.
Right. And I'm always jealous driving through them cornfields. No matter what our corn looks like here, theirs always looks better. There's some pretty good dirt down there.
Yep, it does. Yeah, crops look nice, especially that time of year when you're down there. Boy, the corn's way up there, and it's a nice drive.
Yep. And then right after that, that's on Wednesday night, and then Friday and Saturday night we're in Hillsboro. And I know Pro Stocks are co-sanctioning Hillsboro this year, so all the Badger State Pro Stocks will be there. And the 2-wheel drive trucks do, and the Super Farm also, and I think the light pros, if they're there, do. So we'll have 4 classes there that will be co-sanctioned with Hot Shots Champions Tour Pull. So, yep.
The following week is Mazo, Friday 25th or 26th as it shows. So
No, we're
can't open,
past. We're to
I
Beaver
can't
Dam.
open my calendar for Mazo.
Oh, yep.
Mazo
We
would
went
be
through.
the 25th then, right? Tuesday,
Uh,
Wednesday, 23rd, 24th is Thursday, 25th it must be.
yep, yep. Well, we went through Oshkosh, Utica, and Warren already in Milledgeville,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah,
Hillsboro's after. Huh?
the Mazo poll. He was just asking the
Oh,
clarification of the Mazo poll.
oh, I didn't see that part. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
So he was double checking that. So yeah. So on from Hillsboro is the 13th is Beaver Dam Dodge County Fair. That poll is a lot of fun. That's reminds me of Darlington. There's so many people there, and they're all cheering, and that's just a fun night.
Yep. And that was the winner of the best meal for the pullers last year. Chris Feller
That's right.
did that. Prime rib and shrimp.
Yeah.
hard to lose that award if you have that food lined up there. And it was hot. I got done eating there, and all I wanted to do was take a nap after that. But it was good.
Yeah, that and the Hard Luck Award can both be purchased.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to buy the hard luck one though.
No, that one's more expensive than the meal.
Right? We've got 3 hard luck stamps in our shop. We don't want any more.
That, Brian Cruz says, "How's the boys' motor coming?"
The blocks at Robbie's from the aluminum blocks here, they sound like they had the John Deere version done. That came a week earlier, and from what Robbie I heard is really happy with it. So hopefully the red one looks the same and they get it done. We're not going to rush through it. We're going to make sure it's done right. We're not going to slap stuff on it to get it out. It's we want to make sure it's right. So that'll be good if it works the way it's said. One of the other competitors that was in Louisville bought a different block, and it was 480 pounds heavier than his old block, a steel block. Yep. So you got it. Now he's the only thing he said he can do is go into the rear end and start grinding stuff out and lightening it up. And I don't think that's why we kind of offered the aluminum block so guys wouldn't have to do that. So.
And I don't think you're going to get 300 pounds back. I mean,
yeah,
it's 480, but I mean, grinding 300 pounds out, I don't know if you can. You
can it depends on if he's got a 706 rear end or a 1066 rear end. He can get more out of that, but I'm sure he's already got the 706 rear end, which is lighter to begin with. Yeah, but that's a tough thing to do. Yeah.
We just can't wait to see you guys in Nashville, Illinois, Brian Cruz.
There we go. Hopefully get down there. Hopefully we're done playing corn. So, yeah.
I'm going to have to see my itinerary and go down and watch.
Right? That's a long haul.
Is it?
It is. It took just as long to get there as it did to Louisville, I think.
Oh, what the heck?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Beaver Dam, Lancaster, the 14th of August. That's a Thursday night, right?
That's the hometown pull of the one and only and Adam Adrian. He's not really. He's from Bloom. What's the name of his little town? But that's his county fair. He kind of helps some guys. That fair board, them guys come in there, a pretty good bunch of guys come in and up the fair convention always and talk it over. And they've signed us the last 3 or 4 years, I think, there. So maybe more than that, but it's pretty. That used to be the best track Badger State had, and it's still one of the top ones. I would love to go there and hook and pull. I would love to pull on that track, but we have I shouldn't say it. We have too many classes, or we have too many hooks already for what we have.
Yeah.
So.
15th is the Winnebago, right? Pecatonic, Illinois.
Yep. Friday night, limited pros are there, I'm sure, and pro farms and super farms were last year. I don't remember everything off the top of my head, but yeah. So we've been in contact with. We don't have the contract back yet, but we've talked to them, so it all sounds good. See how it goes, and then Highland, right after that.
Highland the 23rd.
Yep, that's on Saturday night. That's a week later. The Pecatonica weekend is always Bowling Green and Terre Haute, right? Usually at the same time, if I believe right.
Yeah.
Terre Haute falls over Hill Highland.
Oh, Terre Haute's out over Highland? Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Bowling Green goes on the week of Lancaster, Pecatonica, Beaver
Okay.
Dam.
Yep. That used to be on top of Sauk, and that's kind of why we moved Sauk to that first pull of the year, June 1st, May 31st type deal, because a lot of guys want to run out to Bowling Green and pull, so let them do it if they want to, and don't want to hold them here if we can't. And it worked out pretty good for us last year. So I meet with Dennis tomorrow to pick the classes for that. So we were discussing who had to buy the meal, Badger State or Fair Valley Performance.
Oh.
Yep. So we're working on the classes for that tomorrow night.
You're over there campaigning.
For Sauk, yeah. For Sauk, yeah. But then we got Viroqua yet. The Vernon County. Yep. We are coming back to Viroqua. And
Nice.
yep, that guys like that pull. That always does good because of the Green County Fall Nationals the next day. Guys can come up here from quite a ways away and get 2 hooks, Limited Pros and Super Farms, I believe, and anybody else. Hot Farm, I think.
Yeah,
So
guys come out
neat.
of Minnesota and all over.
Yep, they do. Yep. So I think that's all the events for the year, right?
Yep. Christopher Templeton, is the 640 Pro Farm going to have more tractors this year? Been rumors of a couple new ones coming out.
We've heard that, we've heard that, and people have said it, but you always got to see it, right? See it to believe it. But I think you will. The guys said they would. I hate promising yes, and it doesn't happen. But guys have told me yes, we were going to have 2 or 3 more tractors in that class. So, and I think the light pros are going to have a couple more tractors too because of the component chassis thing. NTP hasn't allowed them yet. But so there's 2 or 3 of them guys I've supposedly been told that are going to come pull with us too. So
that'll be great.
And it sounds like next year that component chassis will be allowed there in NTPA, but not this year. So,
well, the welcome mat's always out, so more the merrier.
Yep. We don't turn anybody away. So,
That'll be fun. It's a fun class anyway to watch, and they're all fun. But I mean, they're just gonna ramp things up in that class, and if the 640s do too, that'll be great.
Yep. Have a few more hooks. We have to watch with the 640s though, because half of them pull PI too, and if I can't sign one here and they're having it, or vice versa, because if they're up north, they're going to stay up there for their hometown pull, and they're not going to go down to Pecatonica or something like that, wherever. I'm just using that, or Freeport, if they have a pull in their hometown that night or close to the guys, because there's more of them north of here too.
Yeah, and you don't want to be the one that's the organization said, well, this is what we're doing, so you got to decide where you want to pull. But, guys like that want to support both organizations. If you can work with them, just makes it better for both.
And we do. I check with the Pullers Inc. is up at the Fair Convention when I'm signing events, and I find out I've got their list of where their pro farms are, and there's only one that was conflicting, and we ended up Badger State ended up doing it, and they put something else in theirs this time. So we've been working back and forth with stuff with them, and you have to do that for everybody. Yes, we've tried it. We have tried it, but we just didn't have enough support in the state to sell the class. Ryan, what's his name up? DeBro, yeah. And Chris, the guy with the Kenworth too, Crazy KW.
Yep.
Yeah, they wanted us to put it on, and they worked hard to get it there, but we just couldn't get 4 or 5 trucks committed. This is probably 10 years ago already. But we tried it a couple times and for a couple years, and it just didn't work out. So, and we definitely would do it if we get guys committed because everybody wants it. So
fun to watch.
Yep, it's fun to watch. So, yep. But anybody have any questions on the schedule or what's going on anywheres?
questions about any of the rules or classes or
Yep.
box turbo stuff yet? Or
Yeah, box turbo comments or anything? Yeah. We are, just so everybody knows, we are good. We've got 2 or 3 shop tours lined up this week. So we're going to try and get them done. And have them out there. We were hoping to have one for tonight, but it didn't pan out for us. So, but we will work on it.
it's hard getting everybody's schedule together sometimes too, and then everybody works, and then trying to jump in some of these places when they're working, or we're trying to get there too when they're not working. So,
Yep.
It's kind of a hard schedule, but
wrestling practice, basketball practice, and whatever sports your kids are in, that takes up a lot of people's time, to make that happen. And, just it is what it is. But we will get it done. We've been trying. Not that we haven't been trying. We've got Roger Bowden's been taking videos for us of what he's doing. Chris Feller's been taking videos for what he's doing. We've got Dennis Fry for performance lined up. Josh Blackburn is kind of committed. He's kind of on the fence, but he's committed to doing it. And a few other guys. It'll be a pretty neat couple weeks here if we get it done before we get in the field.
Yeah. Fair Valley's got some up and coming stuff going on. So once they get that totally set up here, we're going to go visit them guys again. And that was a great show the last time we were there. And I think a lot of the fans get to see the inside scoop on what goes on, in a shop like that, and how that piece of the puzzle, is such a huge item, to the engine department. Just complements it, and there's a lot to it, and not a lot of people get to see that stuff. So that's what we want to do, is uncover and open it up so you guys can see, all inside stuff.
Yep.
Is the list of events final? I see Dubuque is not on the schedule. Connor?
Yep.
Connor?
It is. It is. Dubuque went a different directions. I think they just went with Tri-State this year or something. Or ECI, or both of them. I don't know. Well, that they decided to go that route. That fair jumps on and off all the time. I've been dealing with them for 30 years, and that's just the way that is, but that's how it goes. But we'll be back, I'm sure, at some point again. But
it was a fun pull to announce with ECI. I thought that was a good event.
Yep. Yeah, we didn't make it last year. We had Craig Ladwig's tractor broke last year in Mazo the night before, and then mine had just one less pass on it than his. And thank God, Robbie told me that, hey, I wouldn't run your tractor tomorrow. And I said, okay, I won't, because that would have been catastrophic failure like Craig's was, if anybody remembers the video from that. And Brinkmeyer's, I think, were the same way. Didn't go down there, but we all had cracked rods, and that would have been bad. So, yep. But that's
nearly going blind.
Yep.
Yes.
Hopefully we keep it running this year, all year. That's the goal.
Yep.
But,
can't be leaning on it so hard.
What's that?
You can't be leaning on it so hard.
Well, you don't lean on it, you can't win. Because Jason Round and everybody else is leaning on him, right?
They're leaning on him too, yeah.
Yep, they're all leaning on him. Yeah. But
no, so it's great. Nobody's got questions for the schedule and stuff, so we're working on some things. So I think with that, we'd like to thank our sponsors and call her a night. So we'd like to thank Front Street Toys, Casper Egg, Slama Enterprises, Trip Downing, and Wetton Camp Transport. So thank you to all of them. Thank you to all the fans that watch. Special thanks to Ryan Zolik. We can't thank him enough for helping us out with this every week and doing our video stuff and all the editing for us when we go to these. So Ryan, thank you so much.
Yep. Thanks for helping out, Ryan. I'll let you know when we have to go to video something. So thanks, guys. Thanks for
Sound
watching.
good.
Yep. We will see you